Welcome back. In about 2 hours, former President Donald Trump is expected to surrender to authorities in Georgia. He faces 13 charges related to alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election.
This is Trump's fourth criminal case since leaving office, which is an unprecedented legal situation for any president, current or former, in the nation's history. Fulton County prosecutors say the former president will be processed just like any other person would be, meaning he is expected to have a booking photo or a mugshot taken tonight.
That's right. Over the past few days, several of the 18 co-defendants have turned themselves in, including former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Joining us tonight are elections attorney Angela Baldwin and former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District Matthew Schneider, who is joining us over Zoom. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start with what exactly is happening tonight. Matthew, maybe you can give us a brief primer on what exactly this booking process is.
Certainly, in this state, it's a little bit different from how it's done in Michigan. This is really a process where the president will go in and get processed. That means his fingerprints will be taken either on ink or by scan. He could be given a DNA swab. He will be processed in the normal way. And what's different than in Michigan is he'll be given his bond right then. Usually in Michigan, what happens is the bond takes place through the courthouse. And this is actually through a law enforcement facility. So this process should not take very long. I think he'll be in and out of there in less than an hour.
Okay. All right. So, Angela, I'll have this one for you. So in the previous 3 cases, a booking photo has not been taken. Fulton County, they say they are going to take a booking photo. So I guess talk to me about the significance of this photo being taken.
Well, I mean, it's precedent. We've never had a president go into a booking and have a mugshot, right? And I think this is the most chilling thing that has happened in election law in particular. And that's where you've got a president who's got a tape recording at the Oval Office to the Georgia Secretary of State, specifically stating, and I quote, "Find me 11,870 votes." Which is one more than we have. And the number is very telling, because the fact that he's asking for a specific number is an indication that he's not looking for an election recount, he's looking to steal one.
Prior to him turning himself in today, Matthew, the former president's lawyers made some agreements with the DA, $200,000 bond, and a number of other conditions, including him not using social media to target the co-defendants or witnesses. What happens going forward if by chance he violates that agreement?
Well, that's where this is going to get incredibly interesting, because some of the people that President Trump might be talking out about on social media are his competitors who might be witnesses in this case, such as Mike Pence. So then you're going to have a real First Amendment issue, whether or not this bond condition is what's called a prior restraint on speech, which the court is restricting his speech, but yet he still has a First Amendment right to speak out in defense of himself and on the campaign trail. So this is only the very beginning. We've got a long road to go. I think the president will be saying things that might cross the line, and he might wind himself up in a little hot water in front of this court, and then the defense will be his First Amendment rights.
Okay. So, Angela, the former president is facing 13 felonies. That includes conspiring to commit forgery. For the prosecutors, I guess, what exactly do they need to prove?
Well, what's interesting about this case and the prosecuting attorney in Georgia, and she's done a very thorough investigation in this matter, she's brought forth a couple crimes, what attorneys called inchoate crimes. And these crimes, which are brought under the RICO statute as well as one of the conspiracy election law statutes, means that you don't necessarily have to commit the crime. You just have to act or attempt, so to speak.
Now, with this many co-defendants, Angela, what do we expect going forward? We know, again, the former president is facing 4 separate trials. 2 of them have been scheduled at this point for next year. How does this play out with this many co-defendants? How long will this process be, and will any of those other cases and trials affect this one?
Absolutely, they will absolutely affect this one. What's currently happening is you've got certain defendants who are trying to remove the case from Georgia to federal court. The Georgia court that currently handles this case is going to have to monitor the other cases that are currently going on. There's no cameras that are currently allowed in the courtroom, and essentially this is going to go to a jury. And I think that once everybody hears the tapes, he's going to have a hard time convincing the jury that he's not guilty of some of these inchoate crimes.
Matthew, let's get your final thoughts.
Well, remember, there's two sides to this. The president does have a defense. His defense is, I listened to my lawyers and I followed their advice. Now, they weren't all of his lawyers. He listened to certain particular ones. That's not really different from how some presidents have done it in the past. FDR often ignored his advisors and listened to outside counsel. LBJ did that. Abraham Lincoln did that. So President Trump has a defense that he was listening to these other people. He believed in his heart, is his defense, that he had won the election. Now, whether or not the jury will actually agree with that is a totally different story. Anything can happen in a criminal case. And one thing is for sure, this is not going to happen anytime soon. I know that the court wants to set this for a trial in October. That's never going to happen. It's going to take longer than that, and the Trump team will certainly be arguing for longer, and the judge is likely to grant that.
Matthew makes a great point. This really boils down to intent, the state of mind that he has. It's good to see you, Matthew.
Likewise.